Now, Ghana's ruling New Patriotic Party on Saturday elected the country's Vice President, Mahamudu Bawumia, as a candidate for the 2024 presidential ballot. According to results from primaries released by the Electoral Commission, this decision comes at a critical juncture for Ghana as the nation grapples with a declining economy and a substantial debt burden. Bawumia, a former deputy central bank governor, had been widely touted by pollsters to win the NPP candidacy. Now, Bawumia had earlier won the first round of NPP voting, and as the first Muslim candidate to lead the ethnic Akan and Southern-dominated party, he had positioned himself to breach some of the Ghana's regional divisions. So we're going to see what plans he has for the country at large and what challenges that he might likely face. Anyways, joining us to have this conversation, first, we're joined by Dr. E.O. Osae, lawyer and governance expert. Thank you so much, Dr. Osae, for joining us. Dr. Osae, are you with us? All right, while we wait for Dr. Osae to join us.
No, I am with you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Osae, for joining us. Can you confirm you can hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. Also joining us from Accra, Ghana, is the former MP, Ras Mubarak. Thank you so much, Mubarak, for joining us.
Thank you, Blessing. Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Mubarak. Now, gentlemen, let's get straight to the conversation. Starting off with you, Dr. Osae. Now, with the NPP selection of Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia as their candidate, what factors do you think influenced their decision?
Thank you very much. I think the basic factors that may have influenced the choice are three. The first one is the fact that the NPP party is said to be an Akan dominated party. Now they want to prove a point that it's an all-inclusive political party. So for that matter, they were bent on getting a non-Akan to lead them. Secondly, I think they also thought that he is the right person to succeed the current president as they go into a crucial election in 2024. They have a slogan that they want to break the eight, which has become a mantra in Ghana because since 1993, we've never had a government going beyond its 8-year term. So in our constitution, you have two 4-year terms. Then after that, you have the opportunity of continuing. That is the same political party. But since 1993, we've not had political parties handing over to itself. So they thought that they want to break that one. So that is the break the eight thing. The third one is also about ensuring that some of the policies that the current president started since he is the vice president, they thought that he can continue with that. So I believe these were the three factors that worked in his favor as he won the flag bearership election last Saturday.
Right. Okay. Mr. Mubarak, how exactly does Bawumia's background and experience position him as a suitable presidential candidate for the presidency? We understand that he worked in the finance sector and as the vice president as well. Does this play any role in positioning him as the candidate for presidency?
Well, he's been a lecturer. He's been a deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. He's been VP or vice president for the last 7 years. He's from the north of the country. And clearly, if you look at the array of candidates who contested him, one would not hesitate to say that he stood taller, than all of them in terms of an ability to put up a fight against the National Democratic Congress, which is also putting forward President Mahama. And don't forget, President Mahama had also been a vice president. As a matter of fact, he'd been a deputy minister, a vice president, and then president for one term. So I don't think it's so much about his background more than, who can best, lead the NPP in the next general elections, though he would not be the first Muslim candidate on a party's ticket. But in terms of the two major parties, is the first Muslim. There's a political party here called the APC, of which Hassan Ayariga, who's a Muslim, is the leader and candidate of the party. So coming against President Mahama, it would be a very, very combative election. It would be a very exciting election. It would also be an election based on track record. NPP's pre-election promises to the Ghanaian public, Bawumia's own rhetoric, as then vice presidential nominee, as vice president, vis-a-vis the performance of their party in government. So this would be the variables. And don't forget also that President Mahama is also from the north of Ghana, so you have two leading candidates, both of whom have had some, experience in government. President Mahama has been vice president and president, as I indicated. Bawumia is currently the vice president. So it would be a fight of who can best, articulate their policies and programs. And Bawumia would go into this election also very dented, I must tell you, dented because of the array of things that they said, before they won the elections of 2016. It would be a campaign about the economy. It would be a campaign about who can best advance the best interest of the young men and women of our country. It would be a campaign about jobs. It would be a campaign about who can best, deal with corruption in our country. Whereas people from the NDC, which is my party, would say that, look, Bawumia has been very much a part of the Akufo-Addo administration. And if you voted Bawumia, you would get Nana Akufo-Addo free. And you'd get Gabi Ochiridako, who is a cousin of the president and seemed to be the unelected prime minister of Ghana. So these are some of the things that would weigh heavily on the minds of the Ghanaian public. Don't also forget that there's a base of the NPP. Their stronghold is actually in the Middle Belt, in Ashanti region and the eastern region of Ghana. There's a bit of a disillusionment in those places, and it would be interesting to see how they can, build bridges and mend fences. Don't forget also one of the leading members of the new Patriotic Party, which is the ruling government, broke away from the party. His name is Alan Tramantin, a former trades minister, who comes from the Ashanti region as well, which is the stronghold of the NPP. As to his ability to take a chunk of their votes from the region would be left to be seen. A day is a lifetime in politics, and we would have clarity about who would win the 2024 elections as we get deeper into the year.
Okay.
But as it stands now, if elections were to be held today, the NPP would be in a very, very bad situation, given the fact that there's huge levels of unemployment, given the fact that the economy has gone bust, given the fact that there are huge allegations, perceptions, and cases of corruption against this administration.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mubarak. I mean, we're going to come back to talk about whether or not these experiences they have will suffice in the race to liberate Ghana from the debt burden that they're in. But in the meantime, Dr. Osae, considering the current economic downturn, we're still talking about agenda and manifesto. What specific strategies does Bawumia propose to revitalize Ghana's economy? What are the plans that he's laid down? What has he said regarding the economy of Ghana and the downward trajectory that the country is facing right now?
All right, thank you very much. I think after he was elected, in his acceptance speech, he made a lot of statements. One of them is to the effect that he's going to work to rebound the economy. He also indicated the reasons why the economy was not doing well as expected. And I'm sure that he indicated that he's going to be his own man. That's the most important thing for all of us. So I want to believe that he's made his points clear. But in the coming days, we have his handlers saying that they are going to tour the country and bring out their plans and visions. So for now, this is where we are. I want to believe that it's going to be an interesting election 2024. Why am I saying that? Because these two figures have all tasted power by way of being vice president. They all come from the northern part of the country. And even before the sitting vice president got the flag bearership nod for the NPP, I mean, there were accusations, counter accusations amongst the two gentlemen. So it is an interesting thing happening in Ghana, and that's the beauty of democracy. It tells us that our democracy has grown, and we expect nothing but than a good context in 2024 so that we'll get the best president who will lead this country to continue accelerated development in Ghana.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Osae. Now, Mr. Mubarak, in light of the NPP's internal dynamics, how harmonious or unanimous would we say that the party's support is for Bawumia's candidacy? Is everyone in support of his candidacy?
Well, if you look at the declaration and the fanfare that characterized the declaration, all the other aspirants had given indication or commitment to be on board. Indeed, when the president addressed the country, his party supporters, he made it a point that it was important for everybody, to be united to support their cause. As to whether that would, translate, that would trickle down to the ordinary MPP voter at the grassroots is another issue, because the primary was very dirty, it was bloody. Some persons got beaten up, as a result of this. And there's a huge expectation of the vice president to do everything within his power, to unite the rank and file of his party. For every political party, unity is essential. But in a situation where you have one of the towering figures in their party breaking away and forming his own movement, that would be seen as an attempt to chip into their vote, especially in the Ashanti region. Don't forget also there are huge disillusionment, within the NPP about the way the country is run, about the way appointments have been given, and I know quite a number of people, within the NPP who feel hard done by, who feel that the government hasn't lived up to expectations, and who were hoping for an alternative. And that explains why maverick politician Kennedy Japan, garnered the amount of votes that he got in their elections. So as to whether or not Kennedy, who is very much unpredictable, will bring his supporters on board, would depend on how Bawumia's team play ball. If you run a campaign where you dirtied yourselves, where you insulted each other, where you ran each other down, unity becomes a bit difficult. And as to the vice president's ability, to unite the rank and file of his party is something that we would have to await and see. But clearly, the task ahead for them is as enormous as the task ahead for the NDC, in that a day is a lifetime in politics. And don't forget also that politics is tribal. It is tribal even in the West. And that is why if you go to a place like the United States of America and the UK, labor rights would vote Labor irrespective of which candidate is on the ballot. And if you go to the US, Republicans would vote Republicans irrespective of who is on the ballot. Every now and then you would find disillusionment. And I make this point strongly because of, political history. You will remember Obama's election in 2008. There are people in the Republican Party who are strong Republicans, people like Colin Powell, the former defense secretary, who is unapologetic a Republican, but who had to openly come out, publicly to endorse Obama because Obama was a person of color. So politics is tribal. And in tribal politics, people's loyalties would tend to switch based on candidates. Now, Bawumia is a Muslim.
I want to say a big thank you to you both gentlemen, Dr. E.O. Osae, lawyer and governance expert, and of course, Ras Mubarak, former MP, Accra, Ghana. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.